and is advisor to Government of Karnataka in many issues relating even to the COVID also. Extensively traveled not only India and abroad also. He is recently included in Limca Books of Record for traveling highest number of times in the international flights. As a good friend of us, understanding the uh, problems and challenges of family business, he is instrumental in setting up a center for Ullas Karma Center for Family Business at NITE. With this very brief introduction, sir, I welcome you for this session and request you to continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Padmanabha Achar. And it's always nice to talk to the startups because they're the future to create the jobs also and to create the value and create wealth for the nation. So there is no doubts in my mind that startups are needed in this country to go to the next level of growth for the country. Now, in this 1 hour, how do you want me to take it? If there are any questions, will be there because I had a hard stop at 1 o'clock. So how do we manage the questions?
Shall we take questions at the end, sir?
Yeah, so what I'll do is maybe about 30 minutes, I'll talk
yes.
about the key business drivers, and then we'll take the questions, and people can put their questions in the chat box, and then somebody can pick up those questions, or if they want to talk to me directly, I think you can manage that, and you can decide whom to allow to speak or which questions to be taken, which is relevant for today's talk. So with that, I'll start with my take on key business drivers for the startups and what is required for the startup to succeed, and what they should be doing or what they should not be doing, and what is the essence of speed in a startup, and things like that. So again, thanks very much, Dr. Achar, and I also see Professor Sriniketan sir in the participant list. So thank you, sir, for being
Sudhir
present.
also is there. Dr. Sudhir Raj.
Oh, Dr. Sudhir Raj is also there. My friend Sudhir Raj, he's my boss. Sudhir Raj is my boss. So nice that the people who don't need the education or no need the experience from my sharing experience also there. That's heartening to note. Coming back to the startup story. I've gone through the list of likely participants, which Dr. Acharya has sent it to me. And most of them are in healthcare, agri, and a bit of IT and others. So when I've gone through the topics which are taken up for their business and the product details or service details, when I see they're good and lots need to be done. So idea stage is looking good, and I see there is a need for a product or service to exist, and there is a case for them to become a part of startup community by starting on their own. And the way how the product details have been written or the service like details are written, it makes me to believe that some work has gone in. And some people are at the product development stage, some people are at the product testing stage, some people are already gone into the marketplace, some people are already having some customers. So it is all kind of people are there, and some people are still at idea stage. The way the brief you have given to me, I'm able to see it. So I'll try to cover product, services, and a bit of healthcare and agri, and wherever it's possible, IT. But startup is a startup, whether you are in agri or whether you are in consumer or you are in healthcare, or for that matter, even if you are there in non-IT also, it's perfectly fine to be a part of the startup community. The first thing what I always tell the people who are getting into the startup arena, just ensure that the product or service which you are presently offering to the market, whether it is me to a product or it is totally different product, If it is a Me Too product, please don't get into that at all, because you'll be wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, and Me Too products do not have any space in the market. So you can be rest assured that if it is a Me Too product, don't even venture into that. And I'm not an expert to say that the product, what you're talking about, whether it is a Me Too product or such products are available, such services are available elsewhere, maybe not, may not be in Karnataka, or maybe in India, or maybe may not be in India, but elsewhere in the country, that's your call. But you need to make sure that the product and service what you are offering should not be, most likely should not be a Me Too product. Second is that there should be a need for such product or service in the marketplace. The need is a problem statement. So people should be waiting for such product at a marketplace. Then there is chance of acceptance is high. When I say need basis, it could be a very small need, it could be a very large need. But when you're starting a business, even a small need is perfectly fine. I can give you many examples, like you have a shampoo bottle, but sachet is an innovation. So there was a need for the people to use a sachet as a shampoo about 30 years back. And today, in the market, in the shampoo market, the sachets are almost 60% of the volume and 40% of the bottles. To that extent, the need for the user there to launch a sachet was basically people didn't want to invest so much of money in a bottle. The wastage was high and people used to use lots, but there was no measure for that. And also one-time expenditure at the retail outlet was high. So when we start getting a 50 paisa sachet, that was an innovation. While the shampoo was not an innovation, but the shampoo in a sachet is an innovation. And the need was there because people wanted small portion of that for 50 paisa, 1 rupee. That's the way how that grew. And today, small SKUs, what we call in the consumer parlance, is almost 30-40% of the regular business is a small SKUs, which is in the country. So there has to be a need, and you should be able to fill that gap. And there has to be a certain novelty in your product or service. So what is novelty is something which gives you wow factor. That novelty has to be there. Wow, this is very nice. That's all. That's the novelty. Wow is the novelty, and you need to have it. And the product what you are, or service what you are giving into the marketplace, should be better than the existing product. If at all, if there is anything like that, it should be better, much better than the existing product. It should be cheaper than the existing product or service. It should do faster than the existing product or services. It should be more convenient than existing product or services, and it should be disruptive in nature. And this product should stand on its own legs. It should not be dependent on some other product. So that if you are dependent on some other product, sale of that product has to happen first before sale of your product happens. So most of the time we recommend to the people that anything you want to do it, you need to be standing on your own feet, and you need to be standing on your own way. So you don't have to depend on somebody else, but doesn't mean that you cannot be an dependent business on some other product. Like for example, a battery is dependent on the various equipments which works on a battery. So you can always be like that, but most of the times we recommend that whatever the business you want to get in, please get in wherein you can stand on your own feet. And the timing is very important when you start the business. If you are in a healthcare, you don't get a better time than what you are seeing now, because healthcare investment in the country is less than 2% of our GDP. So that's going to go up. And awareness of the health, we have never seen as much as seen in the last 1.5 years because of the COVID pandemic. So the health will be given a lot of priority, either in the by the government, from the private, from the people, and people also would like to spend a little more on healthcare services or products. And at the same time, the government also will encourage investment in healthcare, because we have gone through the bad time in healthcare management in the last 1.5 years because of the COVID wave 1, and now what we are experiencing COVID wave 2, and we don't know when 3 will come or when 4 will come. At the same time, the healthcare will, all of a sudden, healthcare will have got the limelight in terms of the government and non-government organization, and at an individual level, who have suffered during the COVID, or their relatives or friends and known people have suffered COVID. they know that they need to be careful about health. So anything to do with the healthcare, you would not have got a better time than this. And startups sometimes what they don't know, they think it is not there. So please note that what you don't know, not necessarily it is not there. And your library, your brain is not the only library. There's hundreds and thousands and millions of libraries are there around you, and everybody will be thinking on the same lines at the same time, doing the same thing. So you should be very careful about the product or services which you are getting into. Those product or services should be having some kind of an edge over others. So that means your ignorance cannot be a bliss. Your ignorance could be fatal at some point in time. That you do a lot of work here in Mangalore, and all of a sudden, if you see a business of similar businesses there in Chennai and been doing for the last 3 years, and just because you are not aware, then it will be too late for you to wind down, or too late for you to wind up. And people will want to invest in your business. They say that, okay, there are already such businesses are there in Chennai, or there's there in Coimbatore, or there in Kerala, or there's in North, and why should we invest in a Me-Too product or a similar product? So you should be very careful that you are aware of such product or services globally, in India, in Karnataka, and in Mangalore, so that you know exactly where do you stand. And uh, uh, some of the businesses which you are getting into, they're all made to make me to feel that they are meant for present crisis which we are going. Not all, but few of them are made to believe that for the present crisis. So you need to know any product which you launch, whether it is for a particular period or it is for a longer period of time, and we call it as a product life cycle. And the lifetime should be at least 15 to 20, 25 years. You should be there. Then it is worth investing the time, energy, and money to give birth to such kind of product or services to be launched in the marketplace. So you should be very careful about it. Like, for example, during the COVID time, we have seen hand sanitizer coming in a big way. We have seen hand wash coming in a big way. Both will remain in the business post pandemic, but the sale of hand wash will be much, much, much more than sale of hand sanitizer. The sale of hand sanitizer during the time of COVID, when you are careful about managing your like distance or being hygiene, and I want to be careful, probably you'll carry your sanitizer in your bag or in your pocket or in your car or in your office or home, everywhere. But that may not be there post COVID. People may not give as much as importance what they're giving to hand sanitizers now, probably after 1 or 2 years. So when you're investing your investment in sanitizer, if you're doing as an add-on to your existing business, it is good. But if you're getting into a business like sanitizer meant for COVID, then you should know that it's only a matter of a year or two. The business will be there, but it could be 10%, 20% of the peak what you'll have seen in COVID time. Whereas if you are in hand wash business, hand wash is going to stay, because instead of washing the hand from the soap, they'll be using the hand wash. And to that extent, the shift will happen for hand wash. So I'm just giving an example. I'm not telling that you should get into or not get into sanitizer or hand wash. I'm just giving an example. When you're launching a product, you should know whether it is for temporary or it's for a long term. If it's long term, how long? It is for 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, like that. You should be able to see the product or service their lifetime. And you know that startups are definitely tomorrow's wealth creators, value creators, and the job creators. So, but at the same time, any job what you create in a startup, it's easier to hire, it's difficult to fire. It's very, very difficult, it's very emotional. So when you are recruiting the people, you should be knowing why are you recruiting the people, why are you taking them on the roles, so why are you paying them, and how much you need to pay them. And as much as possible, go for the talent than for the relationship. Oh, he's a friend of mine, I know him, I know through this contact, that contact. All these things are fine, but end of the day, you need to have the talent and you need to pay for the talent. And it's always better to have the talent on your roles rather than your friends and relatives. Initially, that's fine, but on a long-term basis, it's only the talent which matters to build a company, and not otherwise. And some of you must be doing this startup incubation program as a part-time. So in a startup, part-time is okay, but part-time will not take you full-time. So you need to be knowing that anything which you do, your heart and soul has to be there, and you need to be passionate about it, and you should be putting your everything into the business. So chance of success will be higher than when you have a part-time business and you are keeping your legs on on a regular job or regular work or regular studies, and also the startup. Sometimes the focus will be lost. I'm not saying that all the time, but sometimes the focus will be lost. So you should know that when you take the startup as a full time, and for that you need to, if you have say, okay, I'll wait for 3 months, 6 months. If it takes off, then I'll get into the regular. I'll put my full time. That's your call, but you need to know when the part time will become full time, because many part timers cannot become one full time job. So three of them, if they put one third, one third, one third of their time, and if they think that the part time, their three individuals part time will become one person full time, it don't work like that. Part time is a part time. So the business success depends on how much you put your best effort in running the business, and the quantum of time. If it is 24 into 7, 365 days, chance of success will be a little higher than when you do on a part-time basis. And your product is a simple thing. You need to have product positioning very clearly, and you need to have the pricing right, you get the product contents right, and you need to promote it properly, and you need to place it right, and you need to place at the right place at the right time, and the right pricing is very, very key for the success. And some of your business I have seen as a B2B, and there are some products which are B2C. A business to business, you need a trade along with you, and it is not easy to place the product in the trade unless you're already into the business. It is very difficult. So you need to be very sure that your product is B2B or B2C, and accordingly your marketing expenditure will change. B2C is more expensive. B2B is when compared to B2C, it is a little less expensive, but the brand equity what we have in a B2C is much more when you see the B2B. But some of your products are definitely meant for B2B, and you need to be focusing that how do I reach the trade, how do I reach the distributor, so that the end customer will be able to use it through your channels. So you need to be very clear. There cannot be a product which is meant for B2B and also meant for B2C, other than consumer goods. But otherwise, generally, it will classify that, okay, this is meant for B2B, focus on B2B. This is meant for B2C, focus on B2C. And if you are into B2B, if similar products are already there in the marketplace, please ensure that you have done your test marketing very clearly, because replacing the existing product is very, very difficult. The reason is somebody is buying, somebody is selling, somebody is using. So why change now? Again, I'll tell you that the replacement cost is very, very high, and replacement cost will become very high when compared to the new product launches, because people are using something already and they are happy. That's why they're using it, and they don't see a need or a gap between their expectation and the level of delivery which is happening now. And there are somebody who is selling that, and there are somebody who's buying it, and there are some people who are using it. So how come, why they change that, why they need to change that? So to that extent, your product has to be better or cheaper or faster or convenient. That makes them to shift from the existing product or service to the new product or service what you are positioning it. And the consumer research is a must. The consumer research, you need to do it very professionally. It could be 50 customers, it could be 15 customers, or it could be 115 customers, but have a consumer data very, very clearly. Do the questionnaire formatting perfectly fine, and get that consumer insight, consumer feedback. The product has to come out of the consumer insight. And once you are ready with the product, that has to be given to the consumer, and it has to ask him several questions so that you know that the consumer is happy and he has that delight on his face when he sees the product, and he'll have satisfaction much more than the value what he pays. He'll have the satisfaction when he uses it, and he will say, okay, I will use it, this product at this price forever. If he says that, then you are good. I'm not saying that out of 100 you need to all the 100 to be like that, but at least if you don't get 50% of your consumers are not willing to buy at a price at which you intend putting, then you need to relook at the pricing. So people might like the product, people may not like the packaging. People might like the packaging, people may not like the product. So if the first people should like the product or service, then packaging can always change, pricing you can always plan. But the product or service, primarily they need to like it in the consumer research. Once you get the consumer research, first is the consumer insight. Based on that, you understand the need, and then you will have the product. Then you go to the consumers and get their feedback, what we call the consumer research feedback. Based on that, you decide, okay, this is the positioning which I do, this is the pricing which I do, this is the placement I do, and there's a promotion what I do. And then you go for a test marketing in a small market. Test marketing don't have to be at a large scale, but test marketing could be in a small place, like probably Mangalore could be a test marketing, or could be Udupi could be a test marketing, or Puttur could be test marketing, wherein you only deliver in that particular market and learn the tricks of the trade. You know how difficult it is to place a product. You will see what way you can place a product, and you know why the consumer is buying it. You know at what price is buying it. And any adjustment you want to do it, you can do it at that point in time, because you are only in a small market, you're testing it. So you cannot launch a product overnight across the market, because if something goes wrong, then you'll not be able to change everywhere. But in a test marketing phase, you can always do that. So generally, in a consumer goods, or in a large marketing expenditure driven brand businesses, generally we take two markets, and we take the learning from two markets. Then we go for official launch of the product. It happens at every company level, whether it happens in Jyoti Labs, whether it happens in Imami, it happens in Dabur, it happens in Livers, it happens in every company. Without the test marketing, people don't launch the product. So you need to be very clear about it when you are doing, how you are going to do it. And then you need make sure that your legal papers are perfectly fine, your trademarks are perfectly registered. If there is any novelty in your product, you can apply for the patent, and all the tax and legal compliances should be in place. Never get into the problem saying that, oh, I didn't know about it, and nobody advised me, and nobody told me. Nobody will tell you when you start a business, nobody will tell you that you have to file the tax return. But as a citizen, you should be knowing that if you want to get into the business, then every tax compliance is on you. You need to file the returns in time. You need to get the GST registration in time. You need to be collecting the GST, paying the GST, and every aspect of your product requirement from various angles. You need to be compliant. For that, best is to have a good tax practitioner for you to help you to get all these compliances done. Especially in the trademark and patent, it's a must to have it for the people to protect their intellectual property. And also, it's becoming faster in India now. You get your trademark or patent within a period of between 1 to 2 years if you file your papers rightly. And then you need the money for the startup. Where do you get the money from? And most of the people whom I talk to, they think that money is the only thing is required. Rest of things they know about it. That is absolutely, that is a myth. That is not the fact. Most of the people think that if I had the money, I'll have done this. If I had the money, I'll have done this. And only because of money, I could not do that. Good that you don't get the money, otherwise you'll have lost everything. Money follows the project. Money follows the idea. Money follows the passion. Money follows your intent to execute it. Money follows where you feel that you are willing to work 24/7, 365 days, the rest of your life. That's where the money follows. Money just don't come into your bank account just because you have a project report, just because you have a case to prove. No. And the person whom you go to, the first person, if he gives you the money, probably it's because of relationship. Generally, we say that you knock 100 doors, probably the 97th door might get you the money. But the frustration, what you go through to raise the money, to knock 96 doors is the real frustration. But people who wants to do the business, these are all the frustration is part and parcel of their success story. When you see 25 years down the line, then probably you think that, oh, that frustration was not that great. I think finally I was able to get the money. Getting the money from, sorry. Getting the money from known people is no big deal. Getting the money from father, getting the money from uncle, getting the money from friends, getting the money from relatives, they're all no big deal, because these people invest the money because they don't want you to be discouraged. They don't expect the money back also. They will say, okay, you are asking for 5 lakhs, I have 2 lakhs rupees, and do whatever you want to do. I'm fine. But don't be disheartened. You do something on your own. We want you to be an entrepreneur. So all these resources, what you use from the parents, from the friends and the relatives, and in the known circle, people invest the money to encourage you to become an entrepreneur, but don't think that they're investing the money looking at your project report or business plan or your information memorandum. No, they don't invest. So they're not serious monies. Money, what you invest initially, it is okay. Your relatives, it's fine. Your siblings is fine. And thereafter, you start getting, you need serious money. That's where the seed money will come. The institutions will come. And then you have a lot of angel investments will come, and they will ask tough questions to you, and that's where you feel sad when people ask tough questions to you. In writing an examination, if you leave 1 or 2 questions, still you will pass. Whether it's 60% or 70%, 80%, you still pass. But when you're raising the money, if you don't answer 1 question, after answering 55 questions, the 56th question, if you didn't answer, you're failed. You don't get the money, because everybody wants you to be perfect to invest in your business, because startup success in India is less than 10%. So the people lose money in 90% of the places where they invest the money, they lose the money. So you should be knowing that every investor wants to invest in the business, in your business, wants to be you to be a part of the 10%, not a part of 90%. But 10% is not a small number. A small number is a big percentage for a startup, and India is doing relatively better. So you have angel investors, you have seed capital, you have venture capital, you have private equity, you have government grants, you have state government grants, you have central government grants, and you have many support you get. You get in kind, like incubation centers, what AIC has, NITTE has. You get the support in kind, you get support in cash. So there are many ways for that you need to be aware of what is available, where it is available, when to approach, how to approach, and what kind of paper requirement is required. All these things you should be aware of. And you should have a clear business plan for the next 5 years. Then make it as a 1 year business plan. Then make it as a 6 months business plan. Then make it a 3 months business plan. Then you make it as a 1 month business plan. Then you know next month this is what I need to achieve. Then you see the gap between this month and next month. You see the gap as 5 years again. I repeat, when you put a business plan for 5 years, it's very easy. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you write it and you take a spreadsheet and you start saying, okay, first year I'll sell 10 crore, second year I'll make 30 crore, then I make a 50 crore, then I make 100 crore, and to make 200 crore, you write it very easy in the spreadsheet. You put the numbers and some percentages and some assumptions you put, and based on that. Then you come to the first year, you say, I'll do 12 crores of business in the first year. And then I'll say, okay, make it as a 6 months. Then the 12 crore, 6 months, you will put it as 3 crore for the first 6 months. The second 6 months, you put it as a 9 crore. Okay, the first 6 months, it becomes a 3 crore. Then I say, make it as a three-month program. And the 3-month program, instead of making it as a 1.5 crore, you will say, I'll make it only 20 lakhs rupees in the first 3 months. Okay, I'll agree that 20, 30 lakhs, 60 lakhs, you put it. Then you come to the first month, then becomes 20 lakhs. I said, okay, your month starts now. Sell for 20 lakhs now. That's where you get stuck. Now that 20 lakhs rupees selling is becomes so difficult because you don't know where to go, you don't know whom to give. And the sale is not when you sell it to a trader. Sale is when a consumer pays for that and he uses it and is happy about it. That is the sale. Like if you are selling a product, placing the product at the distributor, placing the product at the trade, or placing the product at the hospital, placing the product with somebody, it's not a sale. Even though you'll have got the money, it's not a sale. But when a consumer uses it and is satisfied with that usage and he comes back and buys one more, then this first sale has happened. That you need to be keeping in your mind. And the business plan is very, very critical to raise the money and the idea and the execution. There's a lot of difference between your thinking and your writing and your doing. Your thinking, if you can't write exactly what you think, you will not be, if you are not able to write, then you'll not be able to execute it. So you should know what you think. You should be able to write that in a piece of paper or in a book, 200 pages. You need to write what you think. You should be able to write first. If you are able to write, chance of execution is high. But if you think every day new different things, a new way of doing the business, a new way of marketing the product, new way of getting the money, and if you don't, you're not in a position to put it in paper, trust me, you'll not be able to execute that also. The difference between the idea and execution is, idea is, people say that idea is everything and execution is easy. And with my experience, I say that ideas everybody will have. Few people who execute perfectly, they are the king. They make the market. So ideas many will have, few will execute it, and the people who execute perfectly, they become the king of the marketplace. And if you think that you will win at all levels, no, it's not possible. You will make failure. You will encounter failures here and there. Please treat failure as a learning, and there is a cost to it, and the cost has to be attached to that failure. And you should say, okay, I've lost 10 lakhs rupees, so I've learned by losing 10 lakhs, I have learned how not to do a particular thing now, and hopefully next time I'll not repeat the same mistake. So that's the way you learn. And you should not lose heart when you lose some money or you lose some business. You should not lose heart, and you should think that, okay, I've learned something. And in my 30 years of experience in running the business, it is not that whatever I've done it has become successful. There are certain things which has not gone as the way how I wanted it. I have learned out of that. So I don't make the similar mistake once again. That's all what I can say. But it doesn't mean that I'll not make mistake ever in my life. No, I continue to make mistake. By the mistake, I'll learn it. And with that learning, I will not make similar mistake going forward. So this is something which you should keep back of your mind always. And please have some mentors and advisors who have been there, who have done that, and who have seen some success as your near and dear one, like mentors and advisors. And don't go by what they say, but hear them what they say. Again, I repeat, don't go by what they say, but hear them what they say. And if it makes sense to you, then you follow them. If it doesn't make sense to you, then don't follow them. You can always have two mentors, three mentors, five mentors. Not necessarily that you should have only one mentor or one advisor. You can have as many number of people whom you want. You can always bounce your ideas with them, and you say, okay, what do you think about it? If 4 out of 5 people think it is not a good idea, but if one person think is a great idea, and you can go ahead with that person's thinking. And end of the day, it's your business, and you should be driving it. And it's like jumping into a swimming pool. No coach can help you once you are in the water. He can only tell you once you are outside the water before you jump. But once you jump into the water, you need to be swimming on your own, because that's your risk what you are taking. So to that extent, you need to have good mentors, good, I would say that advisors who have experience, and you should be able to convince them. Any argument you want to have it with them, any criticism if you want to hear from them, is perfectly fine. But end of the day, you should be able to convince them, or you should be able to get convinced by them. So then there is at least a route will get created for you to go forward. And a lot of reading is required if you want to become an entrepreneur. If you want to be in a startup community, you need to be reading a lot. What's happening in the world, what's happening in India, what's happening in Karnataka, what's happening in Bangalore, who is doing what, and who is getting the funding, and why they got that much of funding, and what is the valuation model, what they have, and who are all the promoters, and what is their background, and not necessarily related with your product or service, but anything to do with the startup community, you should be able to learn about them. Then you know that some of the small things what they've done in their life, you may have to adopt that. Some of the things which they have done it right, probably you can adopt that. So there are always saying that you don't have to be spending the money to learn all the time out of your mistake. You can always learn from somebody else's mistake also by reading about it, by understanding about it. You can always do that yourself. You don't have to undergo the same trauma and lose money, lose time, lose energy, and lose confidence to learn something. No, you don't have to do that. If somebody has done that, somebody has lost some money, somebody has lost some business, you can always read about them. And don't make such mistake if it is relevant to your business. Don't do such mistakes in your business. And finally, India, if you want to become a 5 trillion economy, whether it happens in 25 or 26 or 27, anybody's guess, but definitely India will become a 5 trillion economy. And the contribution of startup will be definitely much more than ever before in that 5 trillion economy. And you don't have to become, you don't have to be first in class to become a startup. Many startups, successful startups have not even written their examination. They've done exceedingly well. So you can be the last in class, but you can be the best in startups. So to become a businessman, your mark sheet, marks really generally doesn't really matter, as long as you understand what you are doing, or as long as you understand what you are trying to explain to the people, and as long as you are confident that you'll be able to achieve that. Those are all the marks are more important in that, rather than what you have got in your semester 1, 2, 3, 4 and CGP and all. It matters to get a job, but to become an entrepreneur, nobody will ask you a question that why did you fail in the second semester, or how come that you became university number 1. It doesn't matter. But yes, when you are raising the money, education will definitely help you to raise that extra buck, is what we say. But I have seen some of the investments getting into the people who are dropouts from the colleges. And when you ask them that why did you drop out? Well, you could have finished your engineering. They said, no, I didn't have time to read or write examination. For me, this is everything. So I'll write exam whenever I have the time. I might do it maybe after 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, but I don't know. But for me, this startup is more important than anything else in my life. So then you see that passion in them, and they've done so much of work. And we also see the quantum of work, what they do, what they've done about the product. Then you know that, okay, genuinely these people didn't have the time to study the college books or appear for examination, which you'll be able to make out when you look into their eyes and talk to them. So to that extent, I'm not recommending some of you, we are writing exam, not to write the exam. Please write the exam. That's very important. I, for one, always give a lot of weightage for the education. And but startup is definitely a wonderful community to be a part of it. And good wishes to all of you. Whatever you intend doing, put your heart and soul. Chance of success will be very high. And good luck. And if any questions now, I'll take the questions, please. Thank you.
You can unmute and ask question, or you can write in the chat box. So one question is Me Too. Please explain us what is Me Too syndrome.
Me Too syndrome is that I'm selling Ujala. If somebody will bring a product like Ujala, then why will people shift from Ujala to the new product? If somebody is selling a hair oil and you are bringing out a new hair oil, and why should people shift to the new hair oil? And everybody say that this is the better than that. That's the way how everybody claims. But Me Too product is generally avoidable in startup. That's what I meant.
So there's another question.
Yeah.
Company has many different products. What did the company start with, and when did they decide to diversify with other products?
For which company it is? For my company?
I'm thinking so, sir, because
not
much.
They can ask question.
Yeah.
Mr. Kiran.
Kiran, you can ask the question. Unmute and ask. Kiran. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can do it. Thank you. No, this is for your company, Jyoti Laboratories. I just realized that the range of products you have, I just saw that there's so many products. So the company started with, had a plan to start too many products or many products, or how did this happen? How did the transition happen? Did you start with any single product? And then why did you decide to get into these range of products? What is the
yeah, what do you do, Kiran? What do you do?
I'm from Bangalore. I'm working on DoorDog. That's a last mile delivery
Okay.
logistics.
Okay, fine. I mean, all the details are available in our website, and it is a 36-year-old company. We started with Ujala, and then we went in for Maxo, and then went in for Exo. Then we acquired a Henkel business in India, and now we have 10 brands. We are in household insecticides, we are in floor cleaning, we are in surface cleaning, we are in dishwash, we are in fabric care, we are in personal care. Margo is our brand, Prill is our brand, and Exo is our brand, and Henko is our brand. So we have we are catering to the entire household, SEC A, B, C also. So we have products for premium, we have products for sub premium, we have for masses. So that's the way how the FMCG company is always built. You start from a product like an engine like Ujala, and Ujala is now 82% market share across the country, and number 2 in the country is at 3% market share. We are at 82% market share, and so when you have one powerful brand like Ujala in the country, and then it's easier to bring out the products for the same household. So objective is that the consumer insight is that people are not happy with the existing products with dishwash, which was a product from Levers, and we came in with antibacterial, India's first antibacterial dishwash product called Exo. And today we have in South India more than 40% market share. All India is about 18% market share. And then people had problems with managing the mosquito in the rural India. So we got corner-to-corner production in the form of Maxo with a fantastic technology from Sumitomo. With that, we now have 25% market share in the coil market across the country, and liquid we are about 12% market share in Maxo. Then we acquired a Henkel business in India for 785 crore of rupees, and with 7 brands from their side. So we build a business based on the categories which we excite us, categories in which we can see the future, and we have taken 30 years to build a 2,000 crore company. So that's a growth plan what we take. And every year you see some new launches happening, some adjacent areas we'll be getting into, and some new brand extensions happening. So all these things will be there like any other progressive company. It takes that much time. If you want to be a product-driven company, it takes that much time. But in a startup arena, it is not. It won't apply in the startup arena. While we have taken 30 years to build a 6,000 crore company, value company. In Koramangala, people have that with we have built 6,000 crore value company with 27 factories, 6,000 employees, 30 years. In Koramangala, some startups are 6,000 crore value with 6 people in less than 2 years. So that's the beauty of a startup. You can always create a value in a startup much faster than the historic brick and mortar business like us.
All your products are very familiar because it all keep appearing in all the medias. So I'm assuming a lot of percentage of the money is going towards the marketing.
285 crore every year on sales and promotion. So naturally, people should be seeing it, no?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a question on how to get customer insight and what is the cost of acquisition of customer.
Consumer insight, you need to engage a professional because if you take your friends and relatives as a consumer, they'll try to please you or they try to give you the wrong information. So you need to be doing it very professionally. It will cost you anywhere between 50,000 rupees to 5 lakhs rupees for a good consumer research based on agency which you appoint. But between 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees, you always get a decent consumer feedback from professionals, at least talking to about 25 people. You get the consumer insight.
Praveen raised the hand. Praveen, you can unmute and ask question.
Good morning, sir. This is Dr. Praveen from Numentrix Consulting. I have a very specific question to Mr. Kamath. Sir, what do you think is the role of big organizations like yours, to promote or in promoting technology-based startups? The reason why I'm asking you this question is I see a lot of hesitation in these companies, in these big organizations, to implement new technologies. We talk of Industry 4.0. We cater to some of the manufacturing organizations in Bangalore. But I see, the moment we talk of technologies like AI, machine learning, there seems to be huge hesitation. because everybody thinks that implementation of technologies is a costly affair. So what do you think that organizations, big organizations like yours, should be doing in order to promote implementation of such technologies, which of course would affect the performance of these technology-based startups?
You see, most of the things what you're saying is your guess is not right. Somebody do not encourage new technology doesn't mean that they don't understand the technology. That's why I say that ignorance is not bliss. And I'm not a big company. And for that matter, we are too small. The 2,000 crore sales, it's not at all a big number to talk about. But with 6,000 employees, 2,000 employees at the field force level, I monitor the sales on a real-time basis of 2,800 employees. And I know what is my tomorrow sales. Forget about yesterday's sales. Yesterday's sales, anybody can give me. I can predict tomorrow's sales. Then how do you get the impression that we don't understand the technology? If at 2,000 crores, if I'm able to predict tomorrow's sales, including predicting the rain, if there is, including COVID, where the concentration is high, including the red zone area, including the green zone area, where the lockdown is opening, where lockdown is closed, every data I put in, and I know that most likely tomorrow, with that 4-hour window in Bangalore, this will be my likely sales in Malleshwaram area, pin code 56003. That is the accurate figure, I'll have it. And most of the times we will be 97, 98% accurate. This is at Jyothy Labs level. Can you imagine what Hindustan Lever will be doing it? Hindustan Lever will be predicting the same time next year for wave 6. So making a statement that new people, the big companies don't believe in this.
No, I did not say they don't believe, sir. I asked what
is the next question, and two of them have raised their hand. Short is of time.
Yeah, so, yeah. What I meant, Praveen, is that generally the way how big companies work with artificial intelligence is with the best of the artificial intelligence providers. All I can say is that nobody wants to take a guess with the company which you do not have kind of credibility because it's something to do with the data. And for me, what is more important is the data. And in Jyothy Labs, we have 60 employees in our technology department.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question, please? My name is my name is Dr. Ghia. I work in Mumbai, and the reason I'm asking this question is because I think we are a bit of a Me Too company. Having said that, sir, just want to give you a brief. Our area of focus is wellness of doctors and nurses. The suicide rate is twice the average national of doctors and nurses. The obesity rate is also 3 times higher for doctors and nurses. So we've come up with a plan of a sort of a vending machine which will be giving healthy food options to doctors and nurses in government and trust-run underfunded hospitals where they're doing night shift and don't get good food options. So the vending machine, of course, is a Me Too, is where we are guilty of Me Too. But my question specifically to you, sir, is that how much can we as a company, having whatever you've understood in 15 seconds, sir, how much can we ride on a reputation and emotion that we really care about doctors and nurses, particularly the government and trust people running on night shift, the juniors, and this product is for you? Can we run on that? And can we run on the fact that penetration? So everybody has vending machines, big corporate hospitals have. So the reason they're not bringing it into smaller hospitals, government and trust-run medical colleges, is because it's just too much hard work to bring their machine in because there's so much of red tapeism and things like that. So the motivation is low. So how much can we ride on these two facts that we are willing to do that boring headache of convincing the Sarkari hospitals, and we really care about you doctors and nurses on your night shifts, juniors?
I think you are ahead of time, and you can put into practice in one decent hospital, mid-sized hospital. Yes. If it works, then it should work everywhere. But the real problem in today's doctors or nurses or like paramedical, you give them 3 times of the salary what they're earning, everything will solve. Yes. Today, the problem is they're underpaid.
True.
Rather, they're paid 25% of what they deserve.
True, sir.
And they're frustrated because of that. You ask any doctor,
Yes, sir.
And you spend 5 years
in the
in
government.
doing MBBS, then you spend another 2-3 years of getting the experience, then you work another 2-3 years, and you paid 40,000 rupees. Wherein a person who has just finished engineering in an online interview, he
Yes,
gets
sir.
40 lakhs rupees package,
True, sir. True.
and he's creating a life. Here he is saving a life. Pay the doctor 40 lakhs rupees, he will not commit suicide.
Yes,
Take
sir.
it from me.
So
He'll be a
that's
very
good.
happy person. He'll be a
I'm
very
there
happy
with you, sir.
person.
I'm there with you.
So to that
14 years of
extent,
experience, I've
what
got
you're
you,
saying
sir.
is that, what you're saying is that maybe the Western world,
Yes, sir.
where you are paid very well, where
sir.
they are taken care of very well, they're pampered very well, still they are having a suicidal tendency. Probably they will be more than happy to adopt this. And what you're trying to do is an NGO's job. It's not a business. It cannot be a business. When you're saving somebody's life, you can't charge for that.
Yes, sir.
So it is more like NGO, government organization, public funding, crowdfunding,
Okay.
or maybe the hospital spending, probably kind of care, because it comes with a lot of emotions, and you can't be charging somebody saying that, okay, I averted a suicide and it cost you 10,000 rupees.
Sorry,
So
sir.
that's
We meant to say we're trying to sell nutritious food in a vending machine. Overall, to add mental well-being to doctors, nurses, to give them
for a mental well-being for an ordinary person like me, is that if your mental well-being is not good, then nothing is left. No, then.
Sure, sir.
Anyway, you can always find one good hospital, like who are willing to take care of their doctors and nurses and the paramedical, and tell them, saying that we'll do an experiment for 3 months.
Yes.
And see if there is any happiness if you see. And if you're able to map that, that's where you get the consumer feedback, consumer research. But at this point in time, it's a great idea, but I would say that it's ahead of time.
Thank you so much for that feedback, sir. Means a lot.
You can unmute and ask question. You can unmute and ask question, please.
Hello, sir. This is Navin here. I think my voice is audible.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, Navin. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. My question is on two different aspects. One is what you said that Tomorrow Insight, what business you are running. So I got very much inspired that what future your business can be and how you can able to predict today itself. So it's a one good thing. With that aspect, I just want to understand what are the management tools you use to understand those insights. That is a one question. Second question is what is your prediction for edutech startups which are coming foremost in India for next upcoming years? So these are two things I just wanted to ask you, sir.
Yeah, we do have our various softwares which will map all these things, and the data has to be fed at retail level. That is, our salesman will put in the data, what's happening in the marketplace. He has to put our products data. He also will put the competitors' data. Based on that, we have a lot of other variables to put in, and we will be able to predict that. That is most likely this will be the sales for next day, next week, next month, next quarter, and that's the way how we work on. And also we will know the sales which is happening, which is real-time sales happening from our distributor point, from our retail point, from our wholesale point. We will know the sales which is happening, which you call it as a primary and secondary. So we map the primary sales from us to the trade, and the secondary sales from the trade to the retail, and then the tertiary will be the retail to the consumer. So we'll map all those things, the end sales, the last mile sale will be from the retailer to the consumer. We'll map all those things, and then we will put like whether whether rain is good, whether agricultural yield is good, the market, the minimum support price, the government is good, if the rural India, whether direct transfers are happening. If now, for example, if the government has again allocated the food grains free till November, immediately that will be put into our rural sales. That will be that, okay, X amount of money will be getting into their household via the food grains. So that expenditure what they will have put in on a food grains, that will come for non-food items. Non-food items in India is 35% of the total money spent by a person in rural India. That 35 out of the 35%, 5% belongs to FMCG. In FMCG, my percentage is so much. In that area, my market share is so much. So these are all the variables we put in. And the more variables you have, the more you have. Like, for example, if you have the cyclone happening, which the prediction is about 4 days before only, we will also tell our salespeople that sell your boots before this Wednesday. Thursday onwards, there won't be any sales in your coast region. Sell before Wednesday, because this is what the meteorology department is telling it. And put that data to them, give them, they'll push it more, tell everybody that by now, another 3 days, we are off the market. So we will ensure that during cyclone period, they don't go to the marketplace. So these are all the intelligent tools which we use it. Some of them are in-house made, some of them are outsourced, some of them are on a monthly basis. We pay certain, like a fee for them on SaaS model. So that's on that. And the second question, what you were asking?
With respect to EduTech startups,
EduTech
what can be the future?
Yeah. You see, any business which you are getting into, there will be only top 3 to 5 will survive. EduTech as a segment will survive. Whether you will survive, I don't know. Because only big players will survive in that space. It's a huge investment in technology, in people, in the intellectual properties, and more than anything else, the marketing cost. So to that extent, the scale is very easy for them to go all over the country overnight, all over the world overnight. In the past, it was not there. Just education, just technology, it was not happening. If you are putting one medical college, if you want to put a second medical college, you need the same kind of expenditure once again. If you want to put the third medical college, it's the same expenditure once again. There used to be entry barriers of capital. But in the education and technology, what you call the EduTech, you can just scale the way how you want. So if you have a great idea coming from Guwahati, how long will it take for a Bangalore startup to put that also as a part of his product portfolio? So to that extent, sector is absolutely will stay at least 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but it will get improvement more than what we see now, improvement because of the improvement in technology. Definitely education technology together will go a long way, and I can say it's the future, no doubts in my mind. It's the future of learning. The cost per learning will come down drastically because the scale will make them to bring down the cost to a great extent. Probably they might say that for the first year education is free if you sign up for 3 years. Or if they say education for first years is free if you sign up for 10 years. So we don't know how they come out of it. But who will survive are the top 3 or 4. This is the industry practice. Like, for example, if you have many airlines, how many airlines will survive in a country? Maybe 2 or 3. If you see the best hotels, how many hotels will survive in this country? Maybe the top 3 or 4 chain of hotels will survive in the country. If you take the banking industry, there are hundreds of banks are there, but how many finally will survive? Maybe the top 5 in the country, maybe 2 in public sector and 3 in the private sector, and maybe 1 in the foreign sector, foreign bank. They might survive, but not everybody will not survive. It is not possible also. To that extent, sector is excellent. Who will survive? It's only that how best they are that defines.
Okay. Thank you so much for your insights.
There's one question in agriculture, I think. Srikanth Bhatt, can you unmute and ask?
Yes, sir. Hi, sir. This is Srikanth Bhatt, MD of Q&A Interactive Solutions.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, sir, how do you see agri-business and the farm mechanization, future of farm mechanization?
Absolutely good future. Agriculture will get every support from the central government and the state government, and mechanization, and also efficiency, better yield, better price to the farmers, no middlemen. Using the technology is the future. If you have a great technology to do that, please go ahead and do that. That's the future.
Thanks.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir. So this is Dr. Naveen, and I'm working on a platform as a service model in the space of health. So my question is around, say, for example, when you're coming out with a product from Jyoti Laboratories and trying to assess the product market fit, at what granular level would you first assess the product market fit aspect of it before making it a brand?
Very good question. First is the consumer insight. The problem has to be faced by the consumer. First, we'll assess that. The consumer has to tell me that how I wish I have this as a product, how I wish this could be the like different product, how I wish could be like that, the consumer insight. That's the first starting point for the consumer insight. The next one is that our R&D capability in-house and outsourcing R&D capability, we'll see that, because consumer insight generally will give you the magical dream kind of a thing, saying that I need a product which, for example, if I take a haircut product, it says that if I use this product, I should not be using shampoo. If I use this product, my hair should be, like smooth. If I use this product, hair should not fall. If I use this product, it should not go great. If I use this product, this should do everything what anybody loves to have it, and with the one single product. And they say that it should be at least 50% of the cost of a shampoo which is selling today. That is, they want better, they want cheaper, they want everything to be done at the same price. This is what their ask is. This is the consumer insight. If it comes, some of the things which you can deliver, some of the things which we cannot deliver. So this is the way how we get into R&D. R&D is it's not a tunnel, it's like a funnel. We'll have it. We'll put everything in the R&D. We'll give them the task, whether we can do this, whether we can do that, and where all the competitions are there, and who are all doing it, and why these people are asking this to be in a single product, why these people want it to be in double product. And there are also consumer feedback saying that you will never get a satisfaction unless you put conditions separately. But if you put everything together, we don't get a satisfaction. So that also we will take it. They need to mix themselves. Then only they feel the goodness about it. So finally, we will create a product and we'll go back to the different class of consumer in different towns, saying, okay, this is what it is without the label, and use it and let us know. And when they use and they tell, saying that, wow, this is superb product. I have never come out of this product. If that is the case, generally we'll have it like, for example, we might do it one market in Kerala, other market we might do it in Vijayawada, so that they're totally two different markets. And if the feedback is positive, then we start really working on the raw material, what price, what place, where, packaging, branding. So from this consumer insight till the product getting into the market, probably take about 2 years time.
Okay, sir. Yeah, sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. No, so the extension of that question is around after taking these two samples. No, so what range of population would that be if you have to consider? And say, for example, when you extrapolate it, what is the larger population? How do you break it up into this segment of evaluation population?
Generally, for a consumer insight, sample size of 500 should be fine. 250 into two different places, two different geographies of all SEC A1, A2, A3, or B1, B2, or a combination of both male, female. They're based on the target audience of what you intend positioning your brand product. Based on that, you can plan that. And test marketing generally we take as a one district, just to get a feedback from the trade. We generally take it as one district.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
We have a question from Indrani, ma'am.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Please
okay. Thank you very much for that insightful presentation. Of course, I'm not going to talk about any big business people or ventures, but I have a question for some small business people. Okay. Now we are a DST Technology Enabling Center and very much work together with the AIC because we need to help and handhold those who have some initiatives through research and take it forward. In that connection, are there any shock absorbers for people who need small finances, but at these times of adversity are unable to maybe start paying the loans or whatever they have taken from some small investments? Now, government money, I can understand. Yes, either you have subsidies or you have loans getting written off. But if you have taken whatever, like some terms that I understand from whatever you say is like angel funding and things like that. Okay, I'm in science and not in business, so I don't understand many of these things. But is there a way with even other financiers able to write off? It may be a small loan. It's really not very big. We're not talking about even maybe a couple of tens of lakhs. But is there a way out? Are there people, are there organizations that write off or help during such adversities if there is a startup? I'm talking about small startups. Okay, I only have some experience that maybe 2 decades ago we launched Nile shampoo through a competition because I was the staff advisor for the students, and I launched this product just as a hair care competition, and I think it did very well. It was a very unconventional way of marketing something without having known anything about marketing. Okay. So do you have any question on the finance part that I asked?
Generally, no, because business and gratis do not go together, and help and business do not go together. If anybody wants to help by putting 10, 20 lakhs of rupees, that's their personal call. That has to come from the heart, not from the brain. And any decision which we take from the brain, we only see the viability of the project and invest the money, put our best effort to recover the money. If not, we'll write off. But nobody will give the money to write off at the beginning itself, and that becomes more like a generosity. There may be some family houses, and maybe some family offices, maybe some big business people who might be interested in doing that in their individual capacity. But as a business model, I've not come across anybody, any angel investor saying that, okay, I will put the 20 lakhs rupees, you don't have to be given back to me. That becomes more like a charity. And charity and business and startup ecosystem will not work together.
Sorry, you got me wrong. I didn't mean not returning. During adversities, is there a way? I talked about shock absorbers. I didn't talk about the money.
Bridge money.
Yeah,
bridge money, no. Bridge money is very, very difficult during the tough time, unless you know the people. Like if you know somebody who trusts you, they give the money. Then why do you want to go to the market? In the market, nobody trusts anybody. Nobody trusts anybody in the marketplace because they don't know you. When they don't know you, why will anybody give them money? And where is the security? So it won't come that way. Those are all the things which will happen at an individual level. Somebody knows somebody's uncle. Somebody uncle knows somebody financier, and it's not that during a difficult period like what we are going through, people are not organized the money. They have organized the money. They have paid that some of their installments, or they have paid some of their salary. They are paid. How have they paid? They raise the money from the friends, relatives, known people, saying that, okay, this is a difficult time. So it goes with the trust. It goes with the people whom they know, who have the acquaintance of the people. Like when I support some of the startups during a tough time like this in my individual capacity, I know those people. I've been supporting them for the last 3 years, and okay, now there's no revenue for the last 4 months. It's okay, we put the money. It's only because we know them. But whether anybody will put an unknown startup without knowing their background, just as a bridge, no such institution, according to my knowledge, no such institutional finance is available at this point in time, other than the grants by the government or the both state and central government. That grants will be available, but it won't come overnight. By the time you get the grant, the pandemic will be behind us.
Now, if your projections go wrong, you mentioned all the projections, 1 month, 1 year. If really it goes wrong, not because of failure on the part of the individual to have projected it wrong, but there are natural calamities, adversities. It's okay for big business houses that may also be having parallel business where one takes care of another during, problems such as this. So is there a way out that your financiers say are willing to wait for 2 years? I don't know at all about this sector.
No, such things are not available, madam. That's why startups fail. Why do they fail? Why 90% of the startups are failure? It's not because of all the projects are bad. The timing was wrong. The people were wrong. The confidence was high. They lost confidence. People have I can give you 4 or 5 reasons why startups fail. The reason number 1 is that they lose interest in the business. Second is that they start fighting amongst the co-founders. They're all bigger problems, not the money. Money is the last one. The problem comes is that they lose interest. They start fighting amongst the founders, partners, and they hire wrong employees, high cost. Then they start fighting with them. Then people start leaving the organization. Then they start joining the competition, the way how it is happening now today in the marketplace. It's the same way. They join the competition. So idea get disturbed, idea get diluted. People start doing the same thing elsewhere. It is not that easy to manage the startup community because they come with high expectation. Everybody wants millions of dollars. Everybody wants to come on the front page of Economic Times. Everybody wants to, some of the startups will ask for 2 million, investment in a startup. I said that, tell me what is 1 million? How many zeros are there first? Just because that in a startup, in Economic Times, you read 2 million, 10 million, 100 million, somebody has raised. Don't ask me in rupees and lakhs and crores. That's what I understand. So this is all the things which will change over a period of time. So out
like farmer suicides, everybody jumping into a startup with 90% of them, as you say, failing. It might be expected that some of them will end up like the farmers. And
no. It won't happen like that, because startup community is very clear. If it is a profit, it is for everybody. If it is a loss, it is for the investor. So there is no regrets about it. They don't sign anything. They are not required to sign anything. There's no personal guarantee. There's nothing. It's a completely risk money, and that's the way how the startup community always work and will work. And I encourage in that way. They don't commit any of those things which a farmer has to do it, because these people are literate people, and here they know that yes, I made a mistake, I accept the mistake, and yes, I also lost, you also lost. And some of the startups will tell me, say that, sir, you only lost few crores, but I lost 5 years of my prime life, which is true. If you were to be working with Infosys and Wipro, probably you'll have earned much more than what I will have invested in him. So which is true, because he left Infosys to start something which we liked it, we invested, it didn't work, we closed it, he closed the firm, we wrote off our investment, but end of the day, he also lost his prime time and he's going as a loser, right? But all of a sudden, after 3 years, he has joined some other company as one more startup and he's doing extremely well, but we are still in touch. But can I ask him the money to give back? What money has I invested in the first company? No, it won't work that way. So it is very, very literate community. It's a very literate community, and they're all extraordinary people, and we respect them. And 10% success rate is very, very lucrative. It's very high. Don't think that it's not like people writing 10th exams and 10% pass. No, here out of 100 startup, 50% have never been serious only about the startup.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. It has been very enlightening, and I'm sure with Dr. Achar heading the AIC, we might have an opportunity to take all your advice to go forward, because he's very well informed, I know. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what's your idea about exporting? Yeah. What's your idea about exporting the products to other countries? Why you should not? Do you have any products you're exporting currently?
In Jyoti Labs?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we export about 30 to 33 countries we export, mainly Middle East and North African countries and ASEAN countries. And we do have our own setup in Bangladesh, and we also supply a lot to Sri Lanka.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Sriniketan, concluding
remarks. No, I don't want, because he's already late. He said 1 o'clock he has to leave.
Yeah, no problem, sir. No, sir.
No, sir, you have already answered. My question I have put in the chat box. You have already answered this 3 top reasons for failure. Yeah. But my question is are these reasons same in US or Europe?
No, the reasons are different. In India is different. There very rarely the founders fight among themselves, very rarely. I'm not saying that here it happens all the time. But some of the big companies, startups which you are seeing here, you see the separation happening, very quickly in 3 years, 4 years, and starting something different, which gives you an idea that, even if it is a big startup or a small startup, that problem still exists. And in the US, if you make a mistake, the second time the investment is become that much easy to raise, because the second investor thinks that somebody has invested in his business, he has learned how not to lose now, and that his chance of success is high, and so he invests, the second person invests, then the third person invests much faster. So the more you undergo the failure, they think that is a learning. In India, once if you lose, second time you won't raise the money at all. It's very, very difficult. So to that extent here, failure rates are high because of the way how we deal with our startups, and they need to be managed not from business point of view. We need to manage them from their passion, how passionate they are. We need to manage that because they are on fast track. They want to run 100-meter marathon marathon. They want to run in 100-meter sprint style. So we need to manage them. Go slow, no hurry, don't worry. Life is always, be healthy and work only 18 hours, don't work 24 hours, you'll fall sick. So all these things we'll tell them. So that's the way how we need to manage the startups.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for once again for the time.
Ullas Kamath is also a member for Governing Council. So it's actually involved in the all the activities of the incubation center. It's available for all of us for mentoring whatever the issues you're facing. Is always available with us. So thank you very much for sparing your most valuable time. And I thank all the participants be part of this session.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Praveen, we can close the call, Praveen. Thank you.
I will close the meeting. Yeah.